Hey, good morning, guys. Thane and Judy here. Judy's actually in the back seat of the truck. We got the truck pretty well loaded up. We're starting our little shift here where we're trying to get a little campsite built, hauling up ample water. We picked up 2 totes earlier, and we're going to drop one off and transfer the one that's about half full of water right now to the one that's empty that I'll put on the ground. Obviously, you can't move them very easily, just working by yourself. Yeah, it's probably 1,000 pounds of water in the half or 2/3 full tote right now. But we're heading out from Albuquerque and taking a bunch of camping gear, trying to turn it into Glamourous Camping, glamping. Try to set up a site that will be nice for us. We're allowed, with our CC&Rs, we're allowed on our land to put a little camping site of sorts, as long as it's not like a permanent structure kind of thing. So we'll have water for showers or working on bricks or whatever we're doing up there in the near future here. So we're hoping to make it a kind of a comfortable site when we stay. Like I was starting to say, the CC&Rs let us stay for 10 days out of every 30 days. So we can kind of move it around and figure out something to do to make it work right. Cheers. Okay, recording's on. Okay, we're en route. We're still in the Albuquerque neighborhood. The truck here is packed to the gills here, and even the back bed, as you saw earlier, just totally packed, not an inch of space really for much of anything. The one thing we kind of forgot deliberately, I guess, is the propane tanks. We have a couple 40-pounders. Would have loved to have taken them with us on this trip, but there's just not enough room. Next trip, and I'm sure Judy's going to remind me. Judy,
hey,
are you
hi.
back there?
I'm back here.
The only place I can squeeze her, and even though she's real tiny, the only place she'll fit is back in the back seat. There's a little spot for her. She can safely go. Hopefully I got you.
Yeah, I think you got me.
Okay, anyway, we'll be out to the property in like an hour and a half or so and start getting set up with our glamping campground situation. So in the future we can spend multiple days there and be very comfortable. Hot showers, the whole toilet, the whole thing. We're gonna live in luxury of sorts and lots of water. Cheers. And another little history lesson here. The Abo Salinas Trail, Pass Trail I guess it's called. Anyway, it helped promote a lot of trade of cotton, salt, beans, and stuff like that for the various native tribes in the area and between their pueblos and stuff. But pass is somewhere behind me here. Hopefully you can see it better than I can in the bright sunlight here. And the reflections and stuff on my camera phone here. But it's back there somewhere. I think probably in this area is probably the pass between the mountain ranges. So I'll let you read it. I'll even get closer if you're on a small screen instead of a big screen TV. Just one of those many little historical markers along the roadside here. Finally managed to stop at this one and capture it. Okay, here we are. Made a little detour on our way back home. Found Valentine Ranch Road. We've driven by this many times, and one of our viewers told us a story about the history of this place, so we had to, out of curiosity, take a little detour here and check this out. So there's the truck, theres the sign. I'll even try to zoom in. Nope, doesn't look like it'll do it, but here's the train in the background. So here comes the old Santa Fe, Southern Pacific or Northern Pacific, whatever it is, kind of over my shoulder here. Maybe I can get it in the shot. Should be out this way, I think. Is that it? Yep. That's the train coming through. We got the big tracks. It's on its way up to Mountain Air. And here is a shout out to you, Paul. Valentine Ranch entrance, and we'll take a quick tour of it. So we drove, I'm guessing about a half mile at most, maybe 3/4 of a mile. And it kind of looks like it dead ends here into this cul-de-sac. Hard to see the cul-de-sac, there's a lot of weeds here now. But it ends with this gate here, probably some other property that's now part of Valentine Ranch. And we saw one house when we first got to the hilltop, and then followed the road another few hundred feet to where it kind of ends now. So I suspect the other two lots were right in this area somewhere. And of course, yeah, they have nice views of the mountains, and especially if you do a 2-story house, I'm sure you get great, beautiful panoramic views from here. But no for sale signs and no sign of other activity other than that one house that looks like it was built on the very first lot, I think. Anyway, just an update about Valentine Ranch. Hope everyone enjoyed this. Another little development outside of Mountain Air a few miles on Highway 60. Okay, on the land now, and we made it back up to where we've selected a little campsite here. You can see we brought some a table and some chairs. We have a third chair we just couldn't fit in along with the propane tanks. But this behind me, I think, is a really nice spot where we can put the big white canopy. It's a 10 by 10 canopy to keep the sun off of us while we're working up here, playing and all that. And it's also got a couple other sunblock pieces that form a 90 that will also be able to keep more of the sun from our backs off of us. So it should be able to also let a breeze through while we're under the canopy, which should be nice too, even with those blocks. But we aren't going to put that up on this trip. But the next trip, when we're spending more nights here, we'll go ahead and get the canopy up for the longer duration. And let's see what else we got. One toad on the ground. I got it kind of leveled. I need to probably do a little more shoveling and leveling that thing. Then I was going to transfer the 130, 140 gallons I got in there with the DC pump we got, 12 volt DC up to the truck battery, transfer it, and get some water stored up here on site, which will be really nice. I can just imagine the day having a nice hot shower after a long day of work up here. Be nice to have that. Anyway, got some other supplies back there, table, kitchen stuff. Okay, from over here you can see behind me we got our little friendly toilet, porta potty, whatever they call them, right there. Another table and some plywood in case we need some kind of flat surface. And then in this Stanley container here we got all our camping supplies minus the truck tent and the sleeping bags and pillows and stuff, because we're not spending the night today. Just half the weekend up here. But at least we got our gear kind of stored here, and it's secure from critters. Though I imagine a big bear or something could probably tear that apart, but hopefully there aren't too many. There's no kind of food stored there, so shouldn't be anything really to attract them. And then of course our old trusty barbecue grill, propane, which we'll be able to hook up when we get the tanks up here next trip. And some extra hose. It's a junky hose I'm just going to leave here. I can cut it into pieces and do whatever we need to with it. And of course behind the water tote. Got some firewood and of course a nice new hose that we haven't unhooked yet, and a few tools. So that's kind of it for the initial prep of the site and first delivery of stuff. I'll show kind of behind me. I'll flip around while we chose this site. That way we can get kind of a better view of why we liked it up here at this spot. So after pivoting around, this is kind of like what our view is from the road here, from where we parked the truck. Nice area at this little peak here of the driveway. So we have a nice view across the valley and the mountains. And behind these trees here should be mountain air off that way some miles. So this is our little base camp, the start. Nothing quite glamorous yet, but hopefully we'll turn it into glamping here on another trip or two. Thank you for watching an episode of Nature Preserve Life in Mountain Air, New Mexico. If you'd like to follow along and support our channel, please press the subscribe button and gong that bell to be notified. After all, it's free. Free is a very good price. In the future, we'll plan to focus our episodes on our eco-friendly build of earthen construction and dark night astronomy, that big guy there, and tourism of the regional area, as well as establishing a Patreon account for the sole support of wildlife in Deer Canyon Preserve. So stay tuned. Cheers.